Hello, and welcome to Beering in Mind Beer Reviews. From today, we are going to look at 6 beers from a brewery that has started relatively recently, in the past 2 years, and that is Yggdrasil Brewery in Hiratsuka, which is located southwest of Tokyo. And excuse me, the name is unusual. It is an Old Norse word, and it comes from Norse mythology, meaning the tree of the world tree. And the YGG is a way of referring to the god Odin in Norse mythology, and so the two together, Igu and Drajidu, mean the horse of Odin. And so I'll try to put a picture of this tree on the inside here, and the logo of the brewery also uses this tree. This brewery was founded by 2 Frenchmen, and I've met one of them once, and they are apparently both heavy metal heads, and so a lot of the beers have heavy metal themes, and they use a lot of themes from Norse mythology, kind of maybe some Scandinavian heavy metal sort of influence. They, right out of the box, right out of the gate rather, they started producing all sorts of interesting beers, not just craft beer, but also cider and mead, which to my knowledge no other Japanese craft beer producer has really attempted. They were a gypsy brewer for a time, but apparently now they have their own 300-liter system on which they use, and I've heard that they're aiming for about 400 kiloliters per year eventually to get up to that here. They're both French, and they tend to use French hops in their beers, for example Strisselspalt or Mistral hops, which both come from the Alsace region of France. And so in addition to that, they of course also use some Japanese ingredients, and the first beer we'll look at definitely has that here. Okay, so Yggdrasil Brewery in Hiratsuka, and we're going to look at 6 different beers from them. And now, the first beer we're going to look at from this brewery is called Yggdrasil Mori no Nakamatachi, and instead of the Norse world tree, we have a bonsai tree, and apparently this beer it's a saison, herbal saison at 4% alcohol, and apparently it uses tips from the cypress tree in it, just as some beers in the West will use juniper tips or shavings from the tips of evergreen trees, and they use cypress tips in this. So this one has only 2 ratings on Rate Beer, but a fairly high average, 3.5 out of 5 for its style. Again, it's a saison at 4% alcohol, and let's give this one a go. Not a lot of Japanese breweries produce saisons, so I'm always happy to try a new one from any brewery. Okay, it's got a kind of grapefruity sort of nose, maybe a little bit of pine. I'm getting some kind of Belgian yeast out of this, something like overripe dates. Pine, herbs, definitely citrus, slight phenolic note, which is a bit unusual in a beer like this. It is a very lightly hazy, sort of medium blonde color. See, with a very thin film of head. Turn the light around on it here. You can see what it looks like. I think you can see the carbonation rising up there. Okay. So some pine, some herb, a little bit of citrus, and perhaps it's the citrus or the cypress tips that give it this phenolic aspect. Kind of unusual. Interesting. Rather dry finish as well. Okay, so an interesting beer by a very interesting newer brewery in Japan. I think you should check these guys out. They do have a website, and I think they will ship anywhere in Japan. So if you happen to be in Japan, you might want to give them a look. And I got this in a current 6-pack set. We're in the middle of the lockdown, not really lockdown, but bars and breweries are not open. So they were selling online a 6-pack of selected beers. So I got this as part of that 6-pack. So check them out online. And I look forward to all kinds of interesting new beers from this brewery. Again, it's Yggdrasil Brewery in Hiratsuka, Japan. And this was Mori no Nakamatachi saison, herbal saison. Give it a look, and we're going to be looking at 5 more beers from this brewery, so please tune in, and we'll see you soon. Okay, leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel. All right, bye-bye.